We like to talk about the things that we believe in, and we even become social media activists when we see an injustice done to someone of our color on CNN. It's even common to say what we would do if we were put in a certain situation, what we would say and how we would respond, but rarely does it ever happen when we are actually put into the shoes of others. The shoes of those that we read about or see on the news, rarely do we put on the shoes of an outsider. To us, in our small community, we are all alike. It's okay to say what we like and what we don't like because it's all the same. Oh, how easy it is to stand when there are 20 other people standing with you. It's easy to stand when you know that somebody's got your back, when you know that someone is standing by your side. But what happens when the color of the faces are different from yours? What happens when the God that they worship is different from yours? What happens when you're being told that everything that you believe and everything that you thought to be right is wrong or outdated? Will you allow your truth to be debated? What will you do when you have to stand alone? When the ground that you once stood on is ripped up from under you, shoved up above your head, dropped on your shoulders, belief weighing heavy as 2-ton boulders, threatening to crush your tiny human frame, confused as to why nothing looks the same. You try hard to decipher the blank cold stares that they give you whenever you open your mouth, but because you once knew the warmth of being an insider, it's really hard to walk in the cold, clammy shoes of an outsider. Over 2,000 years ago, an outsider was sent here in the form of a baby boy to save a people who were dead in their sin. An outsider sent to show losers that they could win, to turn darkness into light, wrongs into right. He came to give us a whole new life. He was persecuted for being an outsider. He was lied on, talked about, betrayed, accused, and left out, but his mission never changed. His beliefs never swayed. The lives that he touched and the legacy that he left is what stayed. It wasn't all bad, though. His actions never went unrepaid. He was welcomed by the Father, became King of Kings. He was respected and honored by many. Jesus was an outsider. But see, the difference between him and us is that he didn't shy away from people who weren't like him. He chose to give them what he knew they needed, and when his Father spoke his word, he heeded. See, we are afraid of anything that is not like us. We condemn it, we shun it, we run from it. We are afraid to be different, afraid to be misunderstood, afraid of diversity, but why? When Colossians 1:16 and 17 tells us that by him all things were created in heaven and on earth, visible and invisible, whether thrones or dominions or rulers or authorities, all things were created through him and for him. But why? When Matthew 28:19-20 tells us to go therefore and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit, he tells us that he is with us to the end of age, so there is no reason to be afraid. We are a chosen race that was called out of darkness into his marvelous light. We are outsiders. So that makes us Christ's ambassadors, as though God were making his appeal directly through us. Hear me when I say, stand firm, brothers and sisters. Let nothing move you. Always give yourselves fully to the work of the Lord, because you know that your labor in the Lord is not in vain. Don't be afraid to be different or stand out. Don't be afraid to speak up. Let everything that we do represent Christ. We are here to appeal to those not like us, making us outsiders. We are here to show them something better than they are used to. But we can't effectively do that if we're afraid to be different. So do your best to present yourself to God as one approved, a worker who has no need to be ashamed, rightly handling the word of truth. In your hearts, honor Christ as the Lord, as holy, always being prepared to make a defense to anyone who asks you for a reason for the hope that is in you, yet do it with gentleness and do it with respect. Show them something better, but do not neglect their feelings. Do not neglect their human tendencies to push away what they don't understand. Do not neglect their fear of what they don't know. Do not neglect what is unfamiliar, but choose to reflect the image of the one true living God through your actions, your words, your clothes, your posts, your everyday life. Stand firm in the name of Christ. So yes, we are outsiders. We are different. And there is someone here who knows what I'm talking about, who knows what it means to stand alone, maybe at work, at school, or even in your home. And then maybe some of us have yet to be tested and forced to stand alone. But our Savior did not come here, suffer persecution, and die on the cross for us to flock together in fear of the confused and the lost. He came so that we may have life, so that we may share his love and bring others not like us to him. There's a time coming where your faith will be tested. Your beliefs will be questioned. God is going to call you out to show you whether you are really for him. Can you stand when the rock that you once stood on has been thrust upon your shoulders and you are now forced to carry it? Do you really believe what you say you do? Can you stand when there is no one else standing with you? Can you put away your selfish pride and stand on the outside?